What's going on, guys? Welcome to This Is the Way, or welcome back to This Is the Way, I should say. This is episode 11. This is season 2, episode 3 here. Really cool episode. So basically, this episode is all about Mando teaming up with the other 3 Mandalorians. There's a little bit of trouble with Baby Yoda, so we pick off where we left up. We pick up where we left off on episode 2 of season 2. Mando's ship is like struggling, it's barely flying. We get a really cool opening sequence where he's like trying to land in this port to bring the frog woman to her husband, and they make it to the moon, and like the landing gear isn't working, so he's like pulling up on the throttle as much as he can. It's like coming down. They're like, sir, you need to slow down, you're coming in too hot. He's like, I'm doing my best here. He tells the frog lady to like hold back on the throttle. She has to like put her eggs down there. It's wobbling. I thought I was gonna like fall over for a second, but they get all the way down there. They're just about to land, and then at the last second they kind of fall into the water. But then it's cool because there's like a big like crane like android thing just like pulls them up out of the water in a big net. So this ship is wrecked. Mando shows up and there's like a repairman there. He's like, he gives him a bunch of credits. He's like, here, do what you can to fix it. The guy's like, all right, dude, but it's in rough shape. Mando finally is able to bring the frog woman to her husband. They meet like at the port. That's like a cute moment. They like hug each other and stuff, and then they go back to the home. Mando then goes on ends up on a boat, like a fishing boat, and these like people that look like the Pirates of the Caribbean villains, like Davy Jones' Locker. There's a bunch of them, and they trick Mando and Baby Yoda. They're like, hey, do you want to see this fish eat or whatever? And they're like, yeah, sure. Let the kid let the kid watch. And so like Baby Yoda's leaning over, and there's like a cage thing, and they put the fish down there, and then they knock Baby Yoda into the water. He like closes his pod, but you see this giant thing like swoop up and like encapsulate it. And you're like, oh no, you think Baby Yoda's gonna be okay, but you don't know because that did not look good. Mando dives in after him. They close the gate above him, and they're like, oh, the Beskar steel is ours. They're like poking at him to make sure he drowns, and it's like, these are not good people. But 3 other Mandalorians show up in blue armor, and they take these guys out no problem. They help Mando up, and then they go down and someone gets the child. The pod is wrecked, but they open it up and Baby Yoda is okay, thank God. But Mando knows that these are not Mandalorians, just like the past ones that he's run into, because they immediately take their helmet off, and he's like, you're not Mandalorians, you don't you shouldn't be taking your helmet off. And she's like, oh no, I'm a Mandalorian. She's like, I fought in the Purge. She's like, I'm the last of my kind. She's like, you're just part of the old culture. Or she's like, you're trying to bring the ancient ways back. And he's like, no, there's only one way. He's like, this is the way. And he like flies away. He doesn't want their help. Well, eventually the 3 Mandalorians, they team back up with him. He drops Baby Yoda off as like a babysitter with the frog people. Then he's like looking at the eggs, and he actually sees one of the eggs hatch. So he doesn't eat any of them this time. But they have their child, which is a nice moment. Mando and the rest of the episode really is the 4 Mandalorians, and he's like, hey, I need information on where to find the Jedi, and where to find the Mandalorians as well. I think he needs to find the Jedi so he can find Baby Yoda's planet. But basically they're like, okay, we'll help you, but you need to help us with this plan. Okay, see, there's an Imperial ship out there. Like, we need to get on it, and like we need to steal some stuff from it, and like they won't be able to climb into hyperspeed before they get up out of the port, so no problem. And so Mando's like, okay. So he's like, he leaves Baby Yoda there, and he's like, I'll come back for him. Then we get this awesome sequence where they board the ship and they just start kicking ass. It's actually funny because Mando is like behind them. The 3 of them work so well together that they're just like wrecking shop, and Mando is like coming in at the last second. This is kind of the best shot I could get. There's not really a shot of the 4 of them walking side by side. There's a lot of like 3 of them, but this is them taking out some stormtroopers. Awesome stuff. They just kick ass the whole time. There's actually a lot of good comedy in here too, where they're like going up through, they get to the weapons section, and what's his name? I think it's Jimmy from Sons of Anarchy is like the main captain, and it's like him and the two pilots in the cockpit, and then there's like a second section on the bridge, and then they get to like the bridge, and he's like, okay, I need you to hold them off until we can jump to hyperspace. And he's like, all right. And he's like, okay, guys, we gotta hold them off. And then like the elevator comes up, and he's like, got the gun ready. And then they just start getting wrecked. And he sees it's the four Mandalorians, and he's like, close the doors, close the doors. And then they're like, which ones? He's like, all of them, all of the doors. That's really funny. And then they finally get the doors closed, and they're like, okay, Captain, I think we got them cornered. And he's like, great, where did you get them cornered? And he's like, the airlock containment field, or the airlock containment portion. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? And then they actually get the other team blown out of the airlock. So that's funny too, because they're like, hello, are you still there? So that's a funny bit there. We do actually eventually see a really cool section where the captain gets a transmission from Moff Gideon. And he is like, he's like, we need immediate assistance. They've already taken the bridge. And he's like, well, then you know what to do. He's like, I can't get back up there in time. And he goes, long live the Empire. And he goes, long live the Empire. And he kills the two pilots, gets on the throttle, and just starts going immediately down. He's just trying to crash the plane. And so that's really cool, because like the Mandalorians start freaking out and they're like, we're not going to get to the bridge in time. We're going to die. We can't jump off the ship. And so Mando actually throws a grenade and blows up the stormtroopers. So they actually do get to the cockpit and save the ship in time. There's a cool scene where like it's coming down and they like skim the water. The whole port section is really cool. But yeah, they basically they changed the deal in the middle of the deal, and the woman is like, hey, I need to take this ship. Like I have business here. But Mando gets mad because he's like, you're changing the deal on me. It's fine, they figure it out, but they do get the ship. But yeah, we can see more Moff Gideon and how he kind of is pulling all the strings here. And the woman tells Mando, she says, okay, like to find the Jedi, she's like, you need to go to Ahsoka Tano. And I'm like, let's go, baby. Like that's a big time name. So I'm super excited. I forgot she was going to be in season 2. So Mando's like, all right, he's got the coordinates now where he's going next. He goes back, gets Baby Yoda. We're good to go. And then it seems like that's the end of the Frog Lady. And then it's funny because they get in the ship, and like the repairman did like a terrible job. There's like strings everywhere. And so he gets in the ship and it's like bouncing up and down. He's like, all right. He's like, listen, I know where to bring you, but it's going to be a bumpy ride. But yeah, the story just continues, and I really enjoyed this episode. It's action-packed from start to finish, and I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I'm going to put it at a 9.3, right below the 9.4 I gave the opening one. Really, really enjoyed this episode. Really cool visual pieces there. But yeah, season 2 has been a huge success so far, even with the downer episode last week. I like this one a lot. So yeah, even though we had a bit of a bummer episode last week, personally, it still wasn't terrible. And I think season 2 is only going up, and we might even see some famous characters come in here, because it is after Return of the Jedi, so maybe like we'll get a Luke. I don't know if Luke would be hopeful, but maybe we don't know. We think this is Baby Yoda, but maybe it's just a child, and maybe we get actual Yoda at the end, something. I don't know, but I expect to see like a couple of big characters probably going forward. I mean, Ahsoka Tano is already a huge name, but something else like that too, like a Luke or a Han or anyone else that is still in this timeline would be really awesome, or Leia. So that's probably going to be down the line. They probably don't want to do all that too early, but super excited for where the show's going, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm glad that Disney or Disney Plus really invested in that. So all right, guys, that's another episode of This Is the Way. So thanks for checking out the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, check out the other episodes. And we are caught up now. So at the time of this recording, tomorrow, episode 4 should be going live. So that will be up. But yeah, we are excited to see where the season's going. So thanks for checking out. And until next time, this is the way.